Hi, good morning everyone. Today we are here with Mr. Karnal Singh. As much as Sir doesn't need any sort of introduction, and I would not want to introduce him also, I would like to take you on a journey in this podcast wherein we can learn more about him from his own words. We went through your profile and we've got to know that you've come across some very interesting cases such as the case of Mr. Mallya and Mr. Nirav Modi, a case of Bank of Baroda. Is it possible for you to give us a brief about these cases? We understand the confidentiality for that matter, but whatever gist you'd like to share with us.
See, if we take these cases one by one, let's take the case of Vijay Mallya. His company, Kingfisher, it took loan from the consortium of banks led by State Bank of India. At the time of when he fled away in 2016, the loan amount which he had to return was to the tune of 9,400 crore. He has also, besides this, he has also not paid to the employees for quite a few months. He has also some due from the income tax and the customs. So the total amount come out to be actually 14,000 crore. But we will talk about the bank loan because the case of fraud comes from there.
Yeah.
When taking the bank loan, he submitted the documents about the valuation of the company, which was very inflated. Similarly, the valuation of brand value. He got this valuation from two different valuer, and they had given the different values. He submitted the higher value to the bank. Basic purpose was to show the very good picture of the company so that banks can give loan. Once he got the loan, he used certain shell companies to take out that loan and launder them and use it elsewhere. Now, this is a basic offense he did. When IDBI Bank made complaint against him to the CBI, he fled away from the country. Thereafter, other banks also made complaint about the cheating he has done with the bank. The documents he submitted with the bank were wrongly valued. There was a case of extradition in UK, which we won in favor that he should be extradited in 2020. But then there is some administrative issues in UK, not the judicial or legal issues, but some administrative issues that he has not been sent back to India. In 2018, the government came out with another legislation which is called Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, in which if the sub-person comes fugitive, having cheated around 100 crore, more than 100 crores of rupees, and he has fled away from the India and is not joining the trial of the cases, he can be declared fugitive offender and his other property can be attached. So in this process, the money laundering property and the property of fugitive economic offender, around 14,000 crore property was attached by the Enforcement Directorate. And thereafter, the courts have given these properties to the victims. The banks have got their due. So that is the one case of the Vijay Mallya. If we come to the case of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, Mehul Choksi was basically maternal uncle of Nirav Modi. Now what they did is that they had some understanding with a person working in Punjab National Bank, and he issued letter of understanding to the foreign country banks, from where they put what they had done is they made 15 dummy companies in Dubai and Singapore and issued the false invoices, take out that money, and then used it for various purposes like purchasing the assets or other purposes. They were also doing diamond business, for which they have taken this money out. And in one case, we attached the property worth 3,800 crore. But its valuation was less than 100 crore, actually. So what he was doing is, he was cheating public also. But after making his brand, he was selling almost worthless diamonds, the artificial diamonds, as if they were the original diamonds. A large number of people have been cheated by that. Both of them fled away from India before the case was registered. Nirav Modi extradition case is there in the UK, and Mehul Choksi has fled to some other country. a small country where he has taken the citizenship. This is Nirav Modi case. It is a case of letter of understanding issued by the bank through, and it was sent to foreign country by SWIFT account. Now, in the Punjab National Bank, this SWIFT messaging system and their core banking system were unconnected. So nobody was knowing what is happening except the manager and another person of that particular bank. It was not reflected in the core banking system.
Okay.
And what they were doing is, they were doing evergreening also. Like they took certain loan, issued certain letter of understanding in 2011. Then they took another letter of understanding, took that money, a part of that returned to the bank, a part used. So they were doing continuously evergreening, taking more and more money from the bank.
Different banks?
Yeah,
Okay.
from the same bank.
Okay, from the same bank.
And once what happens is, the person who was working there, who was helping them, with whom they are having the understanding, he was transferred.
Okay.
The new person came.
Yeah.
And he refused to do evergreening and he complained. This is how this case came to the notice. Coming to the third case, Bank of Baroda case. This is an interesting case where around 3,600 crore rupees worth was sent to abroad for various companies in the garb of advance against the import.
Okay.
Import never took place.
Okay.
And then this case came to CBI and the Enforcement Directorate. We tried to find out who are these people who opened the bank accounts. The places where they had opened the company, they were searched, checked, but they had already left those places. We then found out what were the Aadhaar cards used by them. We could reach to some of the people living in Jhuggi Jhopdi.
Okay.
So what they were doing is, they were taking the people from Jhuggi Jhopdi, making them director, giving him some money for a few months, around 10,000 rupees per month, for being a director of that company, and then it is over. That once the verification was done, they were let out. Now this is one part of this, but why they were sending money abroad? There is a scheme of duty drawback. When the exporters send certain money abroad, certain export they do, on certain items, the government refund them.
Okay.
It varies from 3% to 4% to 9% also.
Okay.
What they would do is, these exporters, they will overvalue their export. So suppose the export, what they are doing is, suppose 100 crore export is there, but its actual value would have been 10 crore. So and they will sell it to their own company there. They will they had sent certain employees whose companies was found in Singapore and Dubai. This money will go there, then they will sell it in the market. But market will fetch them only that same value, 10 crore, not the 100 crore. So 90 crore gap will be filled by this money which was sent through the Bank of Baroda. And then they will take the refund from the government as a duty drawback. So ultimately we could trace some of the exporters who were doing it, and they were caught into by the Enforcement Directorate.
Wow. These have been some really powerful cases, sir, and I'm sure that the people who are listening to this will get a deep insight on it. Sir, for the people who have joined us, you used a term shell company. So could you elaborate a little bit more on people, what is a shell company?
See, shell companies are those companies where there is only transactions of money, but there is no underlying work.
Okay.
Now, shell companies would be legitimate in the sense that when a new company is to be formed, suppose, before that company starts functioning, before it gets the approvals, the money is spent. So another companies, small companies is started, where the money comes and goes for various works. Okay. So shell company could be used for legitimate work, but shell companies are generally used for illegitimate work. For example, I'll give you the case of one of the ministers in Maharashtra. He was taking a lot of money for transfer posting. Now this money he would send to Calcutta. Calcutta is a hub of shell companies. And then what it will be done there is, it will be split into small amounts. You cannot deposit the cash more than 50,000. Otherwise it comes automatically reported to Financial Intelligence Unit. So to avoid that, it will be, this amount was deposited in the thousands of companies, around 45,000 each or 46,000 each, like that. Then through banking channel, it will be sent to some more companies, and finally to a company which would purchase shares of this minister's one of the company at a very high rate.
Okay.
And after a few months, shares will be bought back by this company at a very low rate.
Okay.
So the money will come, same money, the corruption money will come in the garb of as if it is an investment, and these were the shell companies of the Calcutta which were helping that.
Okay. So these companies necessarily do not have a physical presence. They're on paper and all these things are done.
See, they have the office of some of the either advocates or some of the one address. You will find in one address 250 companies are being registered like that. So this issue was debated in the government, and the government formed the one committee which is called Task Force on Shell Companies. I was part of that, headed by the Revenue Secretary, and a large number of companies were closed thereafter after examining.
Okay, that's wonderful. That is something that we didn't know about you, and thank you so much for bringing that to us, sir. So there are so many growing businesses in India, and there are companies who are coming up to setting in the Indian market. For them, if you want to make them understand about the FDI and FEMA regulations, what is it that you'd like to share with them?
See, basically, Foreign Exchange Management Act, it deals with how the foreign exchange can be used. It basically deals with various types of transactions. One is the current account transactions. The second is capital account transactions. Then it also deals with the assets formation in India by a non-resident in India, or by a person resident in India forming assets outside the country.
Okay.
Now, when we talk of current account transactions, for example, trading comes under the current account transactions. Then everything is permitted unless specifically prohibited by the FEMA Act. That's a basic norms. When we talk of the capital account transactions, then everything is not permitted unless it is specifically permitted. Okay. So the reverse rules are there.
Okay.
FDI comes in the capital account transactions. So if anybody from the outside India wants to invest in India, there could be foreign direct investment, there could be portfolio investment, or there could be external commercial borrowing. So there could be loan, or there could be the purchasing the equity. Foreign direct investment is directly investing in the company, while portfolio investment is through the stock exchange. And portfolio investment cannot go beyond 10% of the total investment of the company.
Okay.
Now, foreign direct investment, there are certain rules have been formed by the government. And these rules basically talk about the sectors. That means the company is being in which sector. For example, from FDI, one cannot purchase agricultural land. That is specifically banned. So the purpose of this money, in which sector it is coming, that is very important.
Okay.
Whether it is permitted in that sector or not permitted in that sector. Secondly, even in that sector, how much FDI can come? Okay. Like it can come for the equity, one can purchase of 50% or 75% or 25%. It has been laid down in the rules. Secondly, whether it comes under automatic route or approval route. Automatic route is where you don't require approval of the government. You bring the money in India and inform the RBI. Approval route is where one has to apply to the concerned ministry, and thereafter, obtaining approval, only you can bring that money in India.
Okay.
Then there are certain guidelines and given in this particular rules. Apart from the sector and the quantum of money one can bring, there are certain other conditions.
Okay.
Whether you have to go through those conditions, it should know whether these conditions are can violate or not. So one should be careful about following the rules, informing the RBI, and wherever approval is required, take the approval from the concerned ministry. And one should not cross the limit of the sectoral, how much one can invest.
Okay.
Sometimes people, what they do is, they invest indirectly. Like there is a limit of 49%. They will purchase 47% stocks directly. But then what they will do is they will invest in some other company, or they will give loan to some other company. And from there they will invest. Even this is counted.
Okay.
So many people think that it is not counted. It is counted in the FDI.
Sir, you mentioned such sectors that are not included, such as agriculture. I'm sure there are certain sectors which get benefit from certain regulations. Would you like to share with our viewers about those sectors?
See, various sectors are there. For example, tech sectors, technology sectors.
Okay.
If we require technology from abroad, we require a lot of funding to be given to them.
Okay.
Startups, if you take.
Okay.
Startups require a lot of funding. That funding can come from within India, or that funding can come from outside the country.
Right. So I have this question, like you very clearly explained us about these regularities. However, there are certain things that the company specifically should keep in mind so that they do not fall in the trap. Do you have a comment on that?
See, certainly, they should go through the rules, and they should go to the rules of that particular year when they are bringing the money.
Okay.
Because what happens is, there are certain regulations and directions issued in between, either by if it is a loan, it is issued by the Reserve Bank of India, and if it is stocks, it is issued by the Government of India.
Okay.
And they may be changing.
Yeah.
So what happens is, sometimes you just see the book and you think everything is okay. But one should go to the website of Reserve Bank of India, which comes out with a digest on a particular topic. What are the latest update? So one should go to those latest update, examine them, and see whether this is permissible or not permissible.
That's wonderful, and I think that is very essential as well for the upcoming companies. So these days, and even in the past, we've been hearing about a lot of money laundering cases. So can you throw some light on that, and could you also help us explain the role of Financial Action Task Force?
See, money laundering is basically related to the proceeds of crime. So what is proceeds of crime? First, we have to understand that. If somebody does a crime, for example, somebody does extortion. Through extortion, he takes money from the victim. This is proceeds of crime.
Okay.
Or somebody takes a loan and doesn't use the loan for the purpose it has been obtained. So this is a crime under IPC. And the money which he has not used for the purpose for which it has come, that money becomes proceeds of crime.
Okay.
Now, this particular area, which we say proceeds of crime and case, is investigated not by the Enforcement Directorate, but it is investigated by some other agency, which is like, for example, could be CBI, could be NIA, National Investigating Agency, could be Customs, in certain cases could be Income Tax or local police. It could be any of these agencies, but that is not the Enforcement Directorate. Now, when these proceeds of crime have been obtained by a person, it is called illegitimate money or illegal money, one can say. But if somebody uses the illegitimate money, people will know immediately how he is using so much money.
Yeah.
So what he tries to do, convert this illegitimate money into the legitimate money. Now this process of converting illegitimate money to legitimate money is called money laundering.
Okay.
Now generally the process is the placement, layering and integration. Placement is the first use of illegitimate money. The first use could be depositing in the bank.
Yeah.
First use could be giving a loan to somebody in cash. Purchasing property, giving an amount in cash.
Right.
First use can be any of these.
Yeah.
But then one start doing layering, because the first use one is done, he can be caught easily. Layering is a process that you use this money for certain purpose, and then from that purpose you use money for other purpose. For example, somebody gets this money, then what he does is he goes to the bank, take a loan from the bank, and he starts a business. And in the business he shows production which is more than he is producing, and makes sales which actually have not taken place.
Yeah.
Revenue in that sales, in the forced sales or whatever you say, revenue comes from these proceeds of crime.
Okay.
So now what you have done, you have layered it.
Yeah.
If somebody asks you where this money you got, you say you have got it from your company.
Yeah.
So this is called layering, and ultimately you reach to the stage, you do layering of 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, when it becomes absolutely integrated in the legal system. So that is the process of money laundering.
Okay.
Now what happened is, there was a mafia in US. What he was doing is he started laundromat, where the clothes are washed. So laundromat machines. His name was El Capino.
Okay.
So then the clothes were washed less, but money was obtained more. More coins were put into that. So that's how he changed his proceeds of crime into the legitimate money. And because they were laundromats, from their word money laundering came.
Okay.
Now the process continued. They were caught, but they were not convicted in money laundering at that time, because there was no offense of money laundering at that time. Now, the drug mafia you would have heard, and the Italy mafia. Now, Italy mafia was working in Italy as well as in US.
Okay.
They opened number of pizza shops.
Okay.
They were front actually, and through pizza shops they were converting their illegal money into the legitimate money. So in Italy, investigation is started against them. Now, one way of investigating is finding out who is doing killings and all that, because mafia was doing that. Whosoever was speaking against them, they were killing. Even Italy, it happened, a magistrate issued a warrant against a mafia, he was killed. So people were afraid. So one of the judges, there in Italy, they called it investigating judge. So he started investigation, not of the original crime, but he started investigation about how the money is flowing.
Yeah.
He went to US also, requested US investigating agency to cooperate. And thereafter, 2 cases were registered. 2 cases were registered and tried. One in Italy and one in US. In US, it is called basically pizza trial cases. And in Italy, it was called the maxi trial cases. It was in 80s, beginning of the 80s. Then the world found that it is better to trace the proceeds of crime, drug money to be caught. And the drug lord should not be allowed to use the drug money. And in 1988, which is called Vienna Convention of UN, that held. And there it decided that we should go after mafias and catch them their money. And there should be international cooperation for that. And banking sector should not refuse giving information to the police, because before that they were not giving information to the police in investigation. In 1989, then an intergovernmental body was created, which is called Financial Action Task Force. Now it has its own history, and in the process today they have 40 recommendations which are related to money laundering and terror financing, and 11 outcomes which says, okay, you have made laws, but are those laws are effective or not? They check it through 11 outcomes about money laundering and terror financing. India is a part of FATF, member of FATF. Besides Financial Action Task Force, there are 9 FATF-style regional bodies.
Okay.
So more countries are part of that. The countries which are not part of the FATF, they are part of the regional bodies, and even the countries which are part of FATF, they are also part of regional bodies.
Okay.
For example, India is part of FATF, but India is a member of Asia Pacific Group. India is also a member of Eurasia Group.
Okay.
So what FATF does is, FATF does the mutual evaluation of the country. Like India's mutual evaluation is going on.
Okay.
Pakistan mutual evaluation was done previously, and Pakistan put into the grey list, saying that Pakistan is not implementing their terror laws properly.
Okay.
So FATF basically comes out recommendations, what type of law should be there, and how effective they should be implemented, and countries are supposed to implement that. So it is a very important role in formulating the money laundering laws and their implementations. Okay. And that is the advantage of this body.
So, sir, you mentioned that currently for India, the investigation is going on. What is the duration of this?
Mutual evaluation is going on. See, mutual evaluation is done by the different countries' representatives. And it has its own process.
Okay.
Process could span around 1 year.
Okay, so every year this.
No, it is not every year.
Yeah,
when the terms comes, because next year it would be some other countries' mutual evaluation would be going on.
Okay. Yeah. So, sir, congratulations for you are a very successful author of the novel The Batla House, and you've received amazing praises for it. Where did this idea come from, and was it? There's also a movie that has been made across it. So, was it after the movie, before the movie? Could you share your journey on it?
See, if I go back to 2008, the scenario before the encounter took place, scenario after the encounter took place. Indian Mujahideen was one terror outfit which had been operating in different parts of the India since 2005. And there was no clue for them who they are. Somebody says this is Simi, somebody will say something else. But ultimately, actual people were beyond law in the sense that they were not being caught. They were threatening through their emails that you cannot catch us. That was the stage before. Now, after the encounter, there were elections in 5 of these states. This encounter took place in 19 September 2008, and elections were in November. And similarly, there were parliamentary elections in 2009, early 2009. So, a lot of vote bank politics has started.
Okay.
Simultaneously, because of their statements, media started picking up and floating the false stories, like false postmortem report. Witnesses which never existed, their stories. It was a painful period for me and my team. But we came out of that. Ultimately, NHRC said the encounter was genuine, which was accepted by High Court and the Supreme Court. But still people were making comments. In every election, somebody will make some comments.
Yeah.
Then came the movie Batla House. But that has not depicted our officers correctly.
Okay.
For example, Mohanchan Sharma, our ace investigating officer, who got killed during the encounter, was painted very badly in the movie.
Okay.
So that was the time I decided that I should bring out the facts of the case, bringing out how our officers work, how their family is connected to them, how their family suffers during the process. And while they are taking their risk of life for the society, for the nation, some vested interest people paint them wrongly. And that was the reason I wrote this book.
It's a very sorry state to say that people who've contributed immensely for the country have to go through such sad things where they're projected in a very wrong way, where the reality doesn't really come out. But we are glad that now people know through your book, sir. So I think we can't thank you enough for bringing those points and facts on the table.
Even see in that, 2 people had run away from this spot. We wrote whatever actually had happened, we wrote in our FIR. There were a lot of allegations that there were no other people.
Okay.
And subsequently they were caught. Both of them have been convicted for being present at this spot and firing at the police.
Okay.
Even that version which people were opposing, it is not possible. How they can run away from the spot. So they have been convicted. That again proves that everything was genuine.
Yeah.
The bullets which were fired on the police, their forensic report confirmed. The dermal nitrate test which was taken. See, dermal nitrate test is the hand wash.
Okay.
Now, if somebody fires, then gunpowder sticks on the hand.
Yeah.
So in that hand wash it comes. So dermal nitrate test of the terrorists who were killed at this spot was done by the AIMS.
Okay.
And they found that it is a positive.
Okay.
So even that confirms that they fired on the police, because allegations were they never fired on the police.
Yeah.
So a lot of things I have explained in my book, each and every piece of evidence, and how our team cracked it, how the Gujarat police initially gave very good inputs to us. Some inputs also came from the Maharashtra police. So it is basically a joint effort of all the police forces, which are sharing the information with each other through intelligence bureau. And that helped in cracking the case. And today we don't have Indian Mujahideen presence in the country.
That's wonderful. That's really nice. Sir, I'm sure there are more such cases. Do you plan to write any more books in the...
Yes, I'm planning to write.
Okay, would you like to share some insights on it?
See, some of the cases, particularly terrorism related,
Okay.
I'm planning to write.
Wow, I think we'll be very eagerly waiting for your book to come out, and wishing you all the very best for that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So, sir, now that we know that you're associated with an upcoming, or rather I should say, this company is doing consulting, is doing wonderfully, Optimax Aces. It's a very unique consulting firm. They have expertise in almost all the domains. With a background wherein you served the government for so long and now you're in the corporate side of the table, how did this change come in place and what is your thoughts on it?
See, I came from the rural background, particularly the farmer's background. For me, justice is very important, and justice to everyone. And that is what I saw during my service. I tried my best to handle the cases very impartially. As far as you're talking about the Optimax is concerned, I met Kapil Kumaria in one of the functions. I knew him for long back, I think since 1992. I was representing Delhi Police in cricket,
Okay.
and they had the on team. This Air Travels Association. So since then I know him, a good person. Then he told me, when I told him that I am doing the legal service, so he told that he has also started a company on the same topic. And Pradeep Bhardwaj, again, my colleague and my very dear friend, is also part of that. So I gave him my consent that because the people with whom you work, they should be fair, and they should have very clear heart. And I found in both of them, they're associates for a very long period. Then when I came to the company, I found more people coming from the government sector. All of them had been honest in their career and very efficient. So such a group is difficult to form.
Yeah.
And I should say Kapil has done a good work in joining all of them.
I totally agree with you, sir. There are various consultancies in the market. However, the kind of panel or senior advisors or the advisory board that Optimax Aces bring is very rare to find. Each one of the panelists, each one of the advisors have been doing a tremendous job all over their service period and are supremely dedicated. And you are one of the great examples of that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, sir, introduction of technology is very important in any part of investigation, and with the era that we are in, technology is reaching the skies. So, what do you think? Do you also use technologies, or have you used certain technologies in your cases?
See, certainly I have used extensively. Let me tell you, when I completed my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering, then I joined IIT Kanpur in computer science. At that time, there were only two institutes. One is IIT Delhi and IIT Kanpur, which has MTech in computer science. And IIT Kanpur had just started BTech in computer science. There was no computer science in any of the institutes in the country. So when I joined IPS, I was ACP Motinagar. And there was a computerization process going on in Delhi Police. It was done through CMC. So all of a sudden I was transferred from the subdivision to the computer center.
Okay.
So, saying that he has experience, he has knowledge about the computer technology. So three things we did that time. One was the crime criminal system computerization. Second was the payroll system. Now when we computerized the payroll system, nobody was ready to accept. They say you give us in hard copy and that too handwritten.
Okay.
Somehow we were able to convince that you accept the soft copies. No, you accept the hard copy, printed hard copies. And one more thing we did is about personal information system, Delhi Police record.
Okay.
That we put. Thereafter I computerized the licensing system of Delhi Police, which was inaugurated by the then Minister of State, Government of India. So this was initial phase. During the same period, I computerized the recruitment process of Delhi police, which brought total transparency and which resulted into no complaints against recruitment in Delhi police.
Wow.
Then in between I was posted in DCP headquarters 2, which allots the houses to the police officers. They also computerized the house allotment system. So this is about the administrative use. There were cases of 42 blasts in Delhi in 96-97. Now these cases were cracked totally through use of technology.
Okay.
There were no evidences coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not, the blasts were Delhi, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan. So they were all investigating. When I started investigating these cases and my team in October 1997, already 1.5 years has passed when these blasts were taking place. We tried everything from the spot, like spot which type of explosive was used. We could know it is a potassium chlorate with sulfuric acid. We could even construct the bomb ourselves, which they were using. But ultimately no clues were coming from the spot. Then we proposed a theory that the terrorist must be informing somebody in Pakistan.
Okay.
So what we did is we took the records all over India. Previously there was no central gateway, except one gateway was there in VSNL. Mm-hmm. There were no private companies at that time. So we took from them, from the VSNL, there were 5 gateways, if I remember correctly. So we took from all over India that record. We analyzed that and we shortlisted 61 phone numbers.
Okay.
Which were regular phones going on during the blast timings. 49 of them came out to be of Hawala operators. Okay. So we left them.
Okay.
We started working on 12. Then what we wanted is, any call made to these numbers from India, any call received to these numbers from Pakistan, we should be able to hear. Today we have technology. That time VSNL refused that they don't have a technology.
Okay.
I contacted, before that, I had a friend, my college friend in MTNL. Okay. I discussed with him why it can't be done. Mm-hmm. And we postulated how it can be done. And he says, you get the paper mark to me, I'll get it done. So from Delhi, he got it done. We could hear from Delhi. With that information, we approached Ericsson, which had provided switches to the VSNL. Mm-hmm. Ericsson said they have the software. Okay. If they purchase from us, it is available. Yeah. VSNL refused to accept our version. Then I made a complaint to Home Ministry. There was a meeting held by Home Secretary. VSNL chief was called and he was warned then that I remember the words of Home Secretary. He says, if it can be done and you are not doing, heads will roll. Mm. Within 3 days, they purchased the software, put it, and within 15-20 days, we were able to crack the case. Wow. 27 modules all over the country were caught because of that investigation.
That's wonderful. That's so nice for me to hear.
And technology we used even thereafter, like Delhi Police cyber labs. Yeah. So I established 2 cyber labs in Delhi Police. There were none previously, one in the special cell, one in crime branch. Okay. Similarly, in the Enforcement Directorate, I established 5 cyber labs. So we must use technology because that helps in understanding cases. That becomes an evidence which can be produced before the court. Yeah. And that cannot be changed by anybody.
Absolutely, sir. Wonderful insights. So, sir, could you, as much as, people don't really need to know about your introduction, you are a star. However, could you take us through your journey, how you became what you are today?
See, my education, that helped me in my journey because of the background of computer science. Okay. Secondly, my upbringing with my parents, because they inculcated me a feeling that nation is important. People are important. With this, I came to service. And as I narrated, after my subdivision, I was posted in computer center. And I told my contribution there. Then I was posted in the field as DCP, Northwest, where some important cases were there, like my team had encounter with one of the extortionists. There also an interesting thing happened. It's when encounter was taking place with my team and the extortionist. It was just 50 meters away from my office. So I told additional DCP, Kishan Kumar was additional DCP with me, okay, let's see the encounter, live encounter. So as soon as we reached, it was a market. Some people started giving indication in one direction. So I looked at, one person was running. I followed him alone.
Okay.
Then immediately one constable brought a car. So in car we chased him, but he went into the by lanes where car could not have gone. Then both of us chased him, caught him. When I caught him, he said, I'm a journalist. Why are you disturbing me? So he took out one card of journalist. But when he took his search, there was a weapon.
Yeah.
Was there. We brought him to the office. He was caught, arrested, sent to jail. Later on, interestingly, he was one of the person who started Indian Mujahideen.
Oh.
After getting out of the jail.
Wow.
So this is one, that was, I'm talking of the Northwest district. Thereafter, or before that, I went to Arunachal Pradesh. I spent 3 years in Arunachal Pradesh. Again, a different area, very good people, Hindi speaking people. And truthful, straightforward. I enjoyed 3 years there with those people. I played cricket with the students there. I even learned about bow and arrow shooting with them. Came back to Delhi, posted in Ashok Vihar, that is Northwest, which I told you. Thereafter, I came to vigilance and then to the crime branch. And crime branch, large number of cases of economic offences. At that time, crime branch, DCP used to have economic offences wing, traditional crime. Of course, terrorist-related cases were with the special cell, but we were able to crack those cases in the crime branch. Thereafter, I went to Goa, remained there for 4.5 years. And as soon as I came back to Delhi, I was posted in a special cell. A special cell, we had very successful team. I can remember around 28 encounter with terrorists of my teams. Around 200 terrorists were caught. Around 50 dreaded criminals were encountered, and many of them were caught also. So very good team I had got in a special cell. Thereafter, I was put in charge of technical committees for the procurement of a special cell. Okay. So not a special cell, Delhi Police. I was heading almost 20 the committees for the procurement. And my technological background helped in understanding things. Like Delhi Police has command and control system. Everybody was thinking that it will not come up before Commonwealth Games.
Okay.
Because time was short. Yeah. SCL was doing the project. I used to hold meeting every third day of SCL and SCL vendors personally and ask them how to coordinate. Ultimately, it came 15 days before Commonwealth Games started, and it became a talking point for the foreign teams to show that we can see everything what is happening in Delhi sitting at one place. I was posted in the Northern Range, and then I came to Enforcement Directorate. Before that, in between, I had a stint heading the special investigating team in Ishra Jahan case. Okay. I was appointed by the Gujarat High Court for that. So that is my journey about my career.
Sir, it's oh my, I'm still, and digesting this journey. It's been such a wonderful journey. But which one has been the most interesting part of your life while you were serving as an IPS or as the Chief of Enforcement? If you have to pick out one, which one was the most interesting one?
See, if I say Enforcement Directorate, it is very, very good because we are talking of economic security of the country. But on the contrary, if I talk of special cell, we are talking of the security, physical security of the country. But special cell work was very, very challenging. Reason being, the terrorists, if they are not caught, they are going to strike again.
Yes.
So you are working against a team which can cause explosion again, which can kill people again. And you have responsibility to stop them before they can strike again. This task is very challenging. It puts you to work day and night. And it is basically working in unknown. In other places, you have to analyze documents, you have to see the financial reports, so you can come to certain conclusions. But here you are working totally in the area of unknown, who is there, who is not there, and who could strike. And you have responsibility to save the people, to catch the terrorists. I feel that was more challenging.
Do you have any message for aspirants or people who look up to people such as yourself and they visionize you as their ideal leaders? So anything for them?
See, I feel hard work is very, very important. Hard work and humility. Because what happens many times, people who come to the higher post, they don't listen to the problems of the people. And to listen to them is very, very important. There is a story, 4th century story about Chinese son of a king. Mm-hmm. He sent him to his guru for giving finishing touch to his teaching, which he has already taken. So the prince was sent to the forest by the guru. He spent there 1 year. After he came, he asked, "What did you learn? What did you hear?" So he said, "I heard lions roar, I heard waters splashing and all those he told. He said, "I'm not asking this. Go back."
Okay.
He went back again. And he came back, he told that, "I could hear the voice of the air. I could hear the grass unfolding, flowers unfolding." Then he told, "Now you have learned something." Because a king has to understand the people even if they are not telling you. So you must know. So what I used to do is, when I was in, for example, I was in Enforcement Directorate. If I go to, for example, Bombay office, there the strength was around 95 people. I'll take out a time around 4-5 hours to them. I'll sit alone, not even the senior officers of Bombay office. I would start calling from the driver first, each one, in person to me, and I'll ask him 3 questions. The one is, has he any problem at his home? Or in office, which I can help him? Is he being treated properly? Has he any contribution to make or any suggestion for the department?
Wow.
Now, I used to get so much information from them. Somebody is not getting promotion. So you will know all over India promotions may be problem. So what I did when I came back in one of these interactions, I made a chart, roster. On this day, or this day of the year, exam would be there. On this day, DPC will sit. Not they will move with the DPC, but the dates are fixed. That roster is still working today. People are getting their promotions in time.
Wow.
People are sent on training in time. See, the question is, you have to listen to the people to know what is happening. And they will tell you only in person. They will not tell you in presence of other officers.
Right.
So that understanding if you do not have, and therefore they should listen to the people. Second thing, the officers who are making a decisions, they should never decide listening to one party. They should take a decision after listening both the parties.
Yes.
Because they maybe get biased by one party. When they listen to both the parties, they will know the facts of the case. Even if these 2 things are taken, it will help. Third thing is, what is corruption? People feel that taking money is a corruption. I feel beyond that. If you are not giving due to somebody, it is a corruption. If somebody is due for promotion and you are delaying his promotion, you are corrupt. even if you are not taking a single coin. If you are not clearing a file in time, you are corrupt, in my opinion. So people should see it that a due of the people should be given whenever it is due, without any quid pro quo. And that is the basic honesty for the people to work.
That's very deep, sir. I don't know if people think in a similar background, but this was very deep. And wow, I'm so happy that people like you are there. People like you are inspiring millions of people, and there's so much that we can learn from you. As much as I know that you've given us a lot of stories, particularly the one that you shared with me, the journalism, the journalist who you caught. I'm sure there are more such stories, and it sounded so exciting to me. As much as I know that it was risky and.
By the way, he was not journalist.
Yeah.
Now I recall his name, Aftab Ansari.
Okay. Do you have any more story for me? Like, no. I know there are so many stories, but one more if you'd like to share. I think we can spend entire day, and the kind of experience you have, the entire day will be less for it. Anything, maybe any very interesting story that's close to your heart, or that's something you'd like to share.
See, lot of things are there. I'll tell you something about Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay.
So one day, industry secretary complained to me that the constable at the border of Arunachal has taken money from the industry truck.
Okay.
So I said, if you come to me, let's go to the border. We both went to the border, took that driver also. So driver told who was the constable. I called the constable. I asked him, you took money from him? He said, yes, sir. So I asked, where is the money? He took out some 5 rupees note or something.
Okay.
Sir, this is here. Why did you take? Sir, I did not take. He gave me. And how will you use it? I asked. He says, we will take tea out of this.
Okay.
So the truthfulness which I found in Arunachal Pradesh is beyond imagination. There I remember one case before. Their session judges used to be the district magistrate.
Okay.
The DC and IS officer would be the session judge also. So there was a case where advocate had come from Assam, Guwahati.
Okay.
And he was arguing. The accused said, ki sir, he is telling lie. And he was asking me to tell lie to you.
That's
so that truthfulness you find in those tribal people, I really admire them even today.
Wow, that's so nice. But again, I think I am not yet done, sir. I think I can sit with you for another hours and just go on listening to your stories. But thank you so much for this, sir. And we hope that we are able to spread the message that you had today and the kind of journey you have with millions of people, and we can do our bit in inspiring them the way you have inspired them. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.